Well, hello, hello, welcome to Mad Youth Civility Podcast. Today we're excited. We are live on location. This is a special episode. My name is Dr. Anana, the founder of Blessed Girls in the Youth Civility Movement. I am excited. Today, this is a special episode. As you can see, we're live on vacation, on location.
Mhm.
I have some incredible young women, if you will, with me today. So I have some special guests, and I'm just excited today. We are considering Women's History Month. And so this is a special episode where we have an opportunity to speak to an amazing young lady about her wisdom, her experience. You all know with Blessed Girls, we are excited about intergenerational dialogue. And so today I have a blessed girl, an amazing young lady. I believe she'll soon be 18. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
Next
okay.
Friday.
Next Friday. So early birthday
Mhm.
celebration, birthday experience for her is to be here with her great grandmother, Miss Mrs. Frances Brown. Woo, woo, woo.
Mhm.
Yes. Now I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. Samaya, you want to go first?
Hi, my name is Samaya. I go by anything. I'm 18. I'm about to start community college. I'm picking between two colleges right now. I'm just getting myself prepared for everything. So really
Yes.
excited.
Yes. Now you have been a blessed girl for quite some years
Yes,
now.
I
Since she was
have.
like in middle school,
Mhm.
elementary school, we've had some great times together looking and watching her grow up. But you know what? I want to say it was last year we had the privilege of honoring your grandmother,
Yes.
right, at our intergenerational women's health tea. And it was great to see you and to
Mhm.
see how many generations was it?
Four.
Four generations,
Mhm.
right, of women,
Yes.
young women, were there at this event and they had the opportunity to celebrate Mrs. Brown. So go ahead, Mrs. Brown, tell her who you are.
My name is Frances Jackson Brown.
Right.
I was married for 51 years to David Brown, who passed 18 years ago. We were blessed with three kids, three kids, and one adopted.
All right. So you raised four children.
Mhm,
Okay, all
mhm.
right. So, Mrs. Brown, it's such an honor to have you here today with us. And can you start with just tell us a little something bit about yourself, where you
Mhm,
grew up, or
mhm.
what life has been like since when you were younger. Can you just give us a little bit about you growing up as a young lady?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Greensboro, Georgia. I went to school at Carty High. I graduated in 1955. I attended Apex Beauty School for about a year. Then I returned back to Greensboro from Atlanta and married my husband,
Mhm.
David A. Brown,
At what age?
at the age of 19.
19, you were married. And please, Samaya,
Mhm.
jump in. Any questions you have about that? Just tell me, 19 years old, you were married, and this
Mhm.
was in Georgia?
Yeah,
Wow.
Greensboro, Georgia.
So you were just a year older than your great granddaughter when you got married.
Yes, yes.
So, Grandma, like, what leaded you to like get married? Like,
Well, we had been friends all through school. And he kept saying, "We're gonna get married, we're gonna get married." So he came to Atlanta,
Mhm.
and I came back to my mom's house to visit, and I never went back to school.
Wow. Oh, that was
So
it, honey.
yeah, that
But she locked you down, huh?
that was that.
What? I mean, were you like in love, or is it
We
just
were
something
really,
to
we
do?
were really
Like,
was in love. So
mm,
we stayed together for 51
my
years.
goodness.
And after we were blessed with my first daughter,
Hmm.
after a year we was married, Jaquetta Brown,
Okay.
and we moved to New Jersey.
Hmm.
Well, my husband came first
Okay.
because he came on a potato truck,
Potato truck.
potato
What
truck,
is that? What?
because it wasn't no work, no
Okay.
work.
Okay.
And he came to Janesboro,
Okay.
and he was in Janesboro for about 3 months,
Okay.
and he got sick. But my mother was located in Milltown
Okay.
because she was already in New Jersey with her second house. She had got married the second time. And instead of him coming back to Greensboro, where Jacourt and I was, because he was trying to make a better life.
For sure. Yeah.
And he went to my mother and my stepfather went to Janesboro and picked him up. And in 6 months, he sent for Jacourt and I.
Wow.
And we stayed in Milltown all for about 3 years. And then we came to South River.
Wow. So you've been in South River for some time then. Now, what was one of the biggest differences between Georgia and New Jersey? What do you remember back then?
Well, in Georgia, we was happy times in Georgia because we had fun time. We were just like in a little village all to ourselves. There was no immigration. We wasn't black and white mixing there together.
Okay.
They was over here and we was over there.
Okay.
But we was happy, than ourselves. Then when we came out here, then it was more integration, mixing and everything.
Okay, but back in the South, the blacks were here and whites were there. Y'all ain't mixed too much.
No, we didn't. And when I was going to school, there was no black and white going to school together. They was at one side of town and we was in the other.
So everything was still segregated.
So what made you and Grandpa want to move to New Jersey?
Well, he was trying to do get better for us, for us. He wanted to, his mother used to live in, for about 2 years, he lived in Chicago. Then he came back and, it was a different life after he had lived in Chicago.
They're potato trucks. So they got potatoes from the farm and they would bring it up here and sell it? Is that what it was?
No, what it was, we was living after we got married, we were living with his grandmother. So it was no work for him.
Oh,
so she said, you married now, you got a family, you got to
provide.
Yeah. So, but the man came through looking for people to come back to Jersey to work. So she asked him, she said, well, you need to go on the truck. He said, well, what I'm going to do with France and the baby? She said, they could stay here.
She would take care of you guys.
Till you get on feet. So that's how he came to Janesboro.
Wow. Okay.
And from Janesboro to East Brunswick.
To East Brunswick?
Milltown.
And then Milltown, then South River.
Yeah.
Okay. So you lived many decades of history. Many decades of history. What are some of the biggest changes you have seen in society, especially when we think about women and girls?
What I see now that women have more rights, freedom of speech, going different places, taking up whatever trade they would like to do. Whatever they would like to do, they had the opportunity to do it.
So in your time, that wasn't the case? Really? So what were some of the careers for women, or were they at all?
Mostly when I was going to school, they mostly talked about cooking.
Okay.
Beautician, that's why I chose that. Either you be a seamster because you could work in the factory.
Wow. Okay. Got you. Go ahead, Samaya.
My question is, what was the biggest lesson you learned about love and family, like growing up and stuff?
My biggest problem is loving on each other, taking care of each other, sharing, sitting down, having talks, sit down and have dinner together, like a family.
So what is something that you see that is like something that you used to do that you don't see anymore?
Families sitting down together. They don't take time to sit and talk with each other, have a meal together.
That's good. Yeah, big family, big mama's house. Everybody coming together, seeing each other,
like
breaking.
On Saturdays or Sundays, you have that family time.
Got you. Okay, I certainly can attest to. And then when we come together, everybody on their phone, right? Nobody know nothing.
That's right. And when you're talking to them, they're not paying attention to what you are saying because they so interested in what they're looking at on their phone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you know what? What role did family, faith, and community have in shaping who you are today?
Well, they had a big part because we had first, let me tell you, we all had chores to do.
Okay.
Then after we do our chores, we had to go, if you had a neighbor, you had to help out your neighbor.
Community, yeah,
Yeah, you had to do community service. Then you had to go to Bible study on Wednesday night.
Okay.
BYP, you know what I'm trying to say. And after that was on a Sunday evening. After that,
Sunday evening?
yeah,
Oh,
that's when
okay.
we did ours.
Okay.
And it was like a gathering,
Mhm.
everybody get in one group
Group.
and you laugh and talk about the Bible.
Okay. So you got
But
to
that's what
learn.
we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
We
you,
had,
got
yeah.
you. And this helped, how did it help you become the woman you are?
And then you learn how to share.
Okay.
You learn how to treat your fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
And you just learn how to respect each other
Yeah.
and speak. I got a bad habit because
Mm.
I still have that habit. We was taught because it was like a black community. Speak your opinion.
Mm.
What you think about this or what you think about that.
Mm.
You gave your opinion. Nobody didn't get mad because that was what you was thinking. And then you asked the next person what they
Okay.
opinion. Hmm.
Okay.
It was like sharing each other's opinion.
I love it.
Hmm.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
What you got?
What is something about your past you think my generation should never forget?
Mm.
You should never forget from where you came.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
So when you say where you came from, like you basically saying
I
like
came from Georgia,
Mhm.
but I never forgot I came from Georgia.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't say I would want to go back to where I came from because I want to continue to grow.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
Because, like now, when I go and visit, even like visiting, something changes and something haven't.
Mhm.
Not to me,
so you're
because
basically
I know what it was when I was there.
Mhm.
you're basically saying like live life and just let life be how it is.
Live your life, but try to live it to the best of your ability.
Mhm.
Try to always do better.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
always think you can do better than what you
No, you can do.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
Room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get comfortable,
Mm,
stagnant, stuck.
mhm,
Is that
mhm.
right, mother?
That's right.
Just
That's
keep
right.
moving.
That's
Yeah,
right. You
that's
can
right.
always get better.
Don't settle for just anything.
Don't settle. All
Mm-mm.
right. Talked about that.
Mhm.
So listen, since we're celebrating Women's History Month, can you share a story about a woman from your life who inspires you?
Oh, the lady in my life that inspired me, she was a beautician.
Mm.
And she lived across the street from me. And she used to always say to me, Francis, don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Always put your best feet forward. Always say you can do it and give it your best. Mhm.
And you remember how she's still alive today?
No, she passed on.
Wow.
Mhm.
So you met her when? At what
Well,
point
she was
did she
like a
tell you that?
neighbor.
She was a neighbor.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
Community right there as
mhm,
well. But
mhm.
how many years ago was this? Are we talking about?
Oh, I'm 89.
Mm.
She died when she was about 60.
Wow. When you were
Mhm.
60?
No, no, when she was about 60.
Oh my
I was still a
goodness.
young girl because she was much older than I was. But you know how older people talk to young. She didn't, in fact, she didn't have no kids. She never had kids,
Wow.
but she loved kids.
Right, right, right,
Hmm.
right, right. And
And
you
she always,
remember?
yeah, and she always told me because
Mm.
she would do my hair.
Okay, okay.
And she would sit and she would tell the girls, always do your best. She said, she always said, don't let little boys change your mind,
Okay.
steer you in the wrong direction.
Mhm.
She said, always be a lady.
Mhm.
That's what she used to say.
I love it.
Hmm.
But you still to this day
Mm.
remember
Hmm.
those experiences with her, the
And
words of wisdom.
I tell them the same.
you.
Don't I tell y'all?
She does.
Yes.
She always tells me, never let nobody change your mind. I'll be like, I know where I'm going. I know what I want. So
I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
You have anything you want me to put on?
my next question will be like, what advice would you have for this generation nowadays? Like, what was like some things that you see us do? Like, what would you tell us, how to go about it or like how not to do it?
Well, if now I would tell you all, for me,
Mhm.
you use too much time on your phone
Okay.
instead of picking up a book, reading it,
Okay.
going out asking, just do community work. Ask somebody, can you help them or do something besides just sitting on the phone
Mhm.
or looking in the mirror. You know?
I know that's right.
We love you, grandma.
What do you think they're missing by doing that? Like what?
They missing so much because there's so much they could be learning. Besides, just talking to their friends on the phone. Just try to talk to peoples, and I think you will learn more educational
Like building
stuff.
skills.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
You know what? If you could share one message with all the young girls listening to this podcast, what would it be? What would be your one Miss Frances Brown today or Women's History Month? You go ahead and talk to the camera and give them a message from your heart.
Well, the first thing I would say, love your parents, respect your parents, go to church, respect your pastor, respect your community, and just try to enjoy life and be grateful for whatever you have and try to make your own self better, not depend on somebody else to do it for you.
That's good. That's good. You got that message?
Yeah.
I mean, I hear faith.
Mhm.
You said go to church,
Mhm.
respect the pastor,
Mhm.
right? Love your parents,
Mhm.
right? Which is biblical even in that, but really honoring your parents, right? We see a lot of that, disrespect.
That's that.
Is that right?
Mhm.
That we see towards our elders, towards our parents. And this is why I love this time with you because we honor you today. Like I respect you. 89 years old. If anybody see how she look real good, right? And so even always when we see our elders, there's a level of like they've been through so much that we can't even imagine. I don't even know. You were married for how many years?
51.
51 years. You got any marital advice? Lord have mercy.
Well,
What you want to tell the folks about staying married?
Well, my thing was I was told when I got married by my husband's grandmother. She said, Francis, whatever you do, you're not gonna agree on everything.
Right.
But never go to bed angry.
Okay.
Always say good night, say your prayers together, get up the next morning and start the argument over. She said,
And how did that help like you and grandpa's relationship?
Well, we did that.
Okay.
Because I'm sure my children can remember some arguments we had, but they know we always said good night to each other. Always said good night to each other.
And it's good to even have that example. And you have that legacy, of going through and staying together through a marriage. What's one thing about aging that has surprised you? Now I'm getting older, mother. Okay. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, do you remember, as you went through, you got older, different parts of your life when it was anything like surprised you about that, about getting older? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
aging?
you get slower.
Okay.
And you do want more attention.
Okay. All right.
And you want more attention from your children and your grandkids. And I constantly say, I love them all, but my son get on me all the time. He said, you depend on Shanique too much. I said, because I know she's going to do what I ask her to do. And not no complaining and, oh, why did grandma ask me that? Or why did grandma say that? She just go ahead and do it. Maybe she don't want to do it, but she got sense enough to know that her blessing come by being obedient.
All right now.
Amen.
Well, shouts out to Shanique. Who's Shanique to you?
So that's
that's my mama.
That's why I say to Samaya and I say to Josiah, I tell them all the time they need to tell their tongue because I don't like when they answer their mother. They answer their mothers.
Right.
Their mother. And I don't like that. That bothers me.
So what you call them? Towel your tongue? What that say?
Telling your tongue. Keep your
Tell your
mouth
tongue.
shut.
Oh,
If
okay.
you don't like what your mother said, just don't
Okay.
say
Right,
anything.
right. You don't respond, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't give an answer.
Yeah.
You just say, okay. And then later on, you say, well, Mom, like I do Jaquara.
Mm-hmm.
If she says something and I don't like it, I don't answer right away. Later on, I said, well, Porter, you shouldn't have said that, or shouldn't have said it like that because that wasn't the way it went. You know,
Well,
she might not like it,
right.
but at least I let her know.
Yeah. And it's a good way to communicate, right?
Yeah.
And when the timing is right, you don't necessarily embarrass her. You don't, you know what I mean? But you have a gentleness about it and you come back and tell her.
Yeah, I
That's
do.
good.
And I share with her sometime. I said, Jaquara, I said, you need to do this, say this. I'd be concerned about Shanique,
Okay, for sure.
I
for
said,
sure.
you need to say this to Shanique.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm not getting in her business. I'm not, but I'm trying to tell her, you helping your child,
Yeah. You would keep encouraging her.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing it. We never can't stop giving, giving advice.
That's right.
Can't stop mothering, right?
That's right.
We're here for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I got that.
I know sometimes they get upset at me,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to help them.
Of course. That if nothing else, they know you got their best interest at heart.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. And appreciate that for
Yeah.
sure. And they do. And I
Mhm.
remember being there for your birthday celebration. And I saw that a lot. Everyone that came up, just showed appreciation and love for you being who you were to them. And you could tell they were all different personalities, different ages, different generations. But you played such a critical role to each of those people.
Yeah, because if they was doing something and I wasn't, I tell them, I said, that's not right. Sometimes my kids say, Mom, you shouldn't have said that. Yes, I should have, because it was wrong.
And somebody need to tell them. And somebody who they respect and honor, and it's you.
And they appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me, what is something that still brings you joy every day?
Just getting up, seeing my kids happy and talking to my kids and sharing, things with them. Then especially when we sit down and have like a big, all of them here, and we have like a family and everybody on one accord. I don't like no arguing and all that craziness. Mouth, especially the kids that they mouthing at their parents. I don't like that.
Yeah, they know that. I'm sure they know the truth.
Yeah, and I be saying something, then sometimes the parents say, just leave them alone. No, don't leave them alone. Let them know they being disrespected.
Yeah. Well, Samaya obviously has the benefit of that. I know it doesn't always feel like a benefit, I'm sure. It doesn't always feel good, but it does. You see how you have so many people would love to have your great grandmother.
Yes, every time I talk about our grandma to my teachers, they're like, you're so lucky to have your great grandma. I say, yes, I am, because not every day you see everybody with their great grandmas and everything. And I get to learn things from her that, that I'm still trying to figure out. So when I just come and talk to her, she just be letting me know, and I'd be like, okay, grandma.
Yeah, she do.
Okay, grandma. I know.
Sure.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah,
to have my great grandma.
yeah. I mean, I'm grateful that we even just have this time in this space, but you are different, right? Because of that, right? To be able to have your great grandmother, your grandmother in your life, you could call on them,
That's what everybody say. I have an old soul.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's a blessing within itself. So I'm just excited, obviously about your future, and I got two more questions. Did you have any other? Okay. So if you could have dinner with any historical woman, if there's any woman, past or present, right now, if you could say, because you love to have these dinners, but if you can have your table and you can invite one particular woman to be at the table with you, who would that be?
Your mother.
Whoa.
Your mother.
Wow. And why?
Because she plucked my heart. She stayed the same all the time. Every time I told my son, I said, every time I saw her, she was the same. And I got such a beautiful pair of earrings. Well, look, looking at me now because I'm talking about it. But the earring, every time they tell me, oh, Ma, I know you finna say it. And the surprise, I ain't got them on the day. But They are beautiful. I don't know if you she gave them.
No, I didn't. But
Yeah.
she do all kinds of stuff to people. I'd be like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I can't keep up with her.
And it's just a blessing to have
Mhm.
somebody that you think about.
Yeah.
And could I tell you all the time, I talk about your mother all the time. Her and Miss Betty Hodges.
Okay, Miss Betty Hodges. Why Miss Betty Hodges?
Because Miss Betty Hodges and I was in a club. Our husband had a club,
Okay.
and we was in it together.
Mhm.
And as the club busted up, we remained friends.
Mhm.
And we would go on trips. She would have bus rides,
Okay.
and we would always go on trips. I have bus rides. She would go on my trips, and I just feel so bad because she's sick now.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
sick, and
Okay.
I really, truly miss her.
Mm. Now, this club, how many years ago we talking? When was
Oh, about 30 or 40 years.
this? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that you were supporting your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So was that like grandpa's dream to have his own club, or was it just something
No,
like
he
him and his
joined it.
friends?
They invited him to join it.
Mhm.
And when he joined the club,
Mm.
they had asked me to be a deaconess. And I shared with the pastor that my husband was in this club, and they have to go. They go around to different places, and they could be in the bar sometime.
Mhm, mhm.
And he shared with me, as long as I go in the bar and come out the way I went in, I didn't do anything wrong. So I supported my husband.
I know that's right. You better have been right there with him.
I went everywhere he went. I went, and Miss Hodges was the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
So, cause she was at Sharon.
Okay. Okay. So
And
y'all both were church ladies.
Because
Okay.
her husband owned the bar
Okay.
in South River.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
that's wisdom right there. Stay
Mhm.
by your man, honey. You better be right with him. Look, he in the bar, you better go right in the bar with him. Stay in the bar with him, okay? Y'all better catch what she putting down.
Yeah.
All right. Mrs. Brown, we are so grateful for the time and the wisdom today. How can we as young women, and you seeing us, obviously different generations in that, how can we as young women honor and uplift the older generation? What can we do, you think, that we can do to help and support and uplift the older generation?
Just sometimes just say a kind word to them, or even just invite them to a dinner or something.
Yeah,
Have a fun day with them.
I love it. I love it. And why does that matter? Like, what would that do for you?
Because, well, I like getting out. I really like going out. My daughter tell you, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I really like going to the casino.
Okay, yeah.
I do.
There's nothing wrong with the casino, grandma. Ain't nothing wrong with the casino.
And I can tell you this, it's not too a month gonna go by, it's too much that my son don't take me.
Okay.
In fact, I just told my granddaughter they were having something down in July
Atlantic City.
near Atlantic City.
Okay.
So the family thing,
Family fun.
no, at Maine's house. What Pat and them have.
Oh, okay. The family and friends.
Yeah, family and friends day. They're having it down. It's about a 15 or 20 minutes from Atlantic City.
Okay.
So I shared with my son. I said, "Well, you going?" He said, "Well, I might not even go because I have to go back to work." I said, "Oh." I said, "Well, if I go, I sure hope Shanique take Monday off because I'm gonna get us a room and we
down there at the casino."
I said that Sunday when we leave the brunch, we going to check in the room, and that's where we'll be till Tuesday.
Nice. So you got a plan for July?
Yeah.
Amen. What date is that?
Okay. I shared with my daughter.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, what about she's going to get her feet done?" I said, "Well, you can still go."
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, sound like a plan to me. You know where y'all gonna be at in July. So listen to Samaya. This is your great-granddaughter. What is something you admire most about your great-grandmother? And what lessons have you learned from her?
Something that I admire about her, I think it's her strength, because nowadays, like getting married young is something that you don't really hear about. So it's like me, like I knew she got married young, but I didn't know she got married like my young.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe like 20, 27, but getting married at 19, 18, that's like a big thing. So I feel like her strength is something that I admire, and also her wisdom, because like just being able to have a house still in 2025 is just like, how do you do it wrong? So it's just like, that's just something I admire about her, and still being able to walk around, get upstairs. I'd be like, Grandma, what you doing? I'm moving the couch.
Not moving couch.
What are you doing? I'm going down the stairs. Like, okay, Grandma. And she's been like this ever since I was young. Like she used to put me and my big cousin on the bus, and me and her will come home and she's making cinnamon buns. And I'll just be like, cinnamon bun time.
Yeah,
But I
that's
never
right.
like when I was young, I never understood how she do it. Like, how do you do it and you're not my age? But now since I'm older, it's just like she just does it, out of love and joyful of her heart. So that's just something that I'm learning to just be like, just be joyful, be kind. Like, there's no reason to be mean. And some people nowadays just don't understand that. Like they want a mean person. It's just like, no,
That part.
like don't be mean, like don't be ugly.
Yeah, I
That's
love
something
that.
I admire about her.
And I'm still doing it because my daughter tell you right now, I got a young man, I think he come every day or every other day. He'd knock on the door. You got something for me? And sometimes I make a joke out. I said, not today. And he just stand there and keep looking at me like
They know you got something for 'em.
So I go in there and I make him a plate. And then one day he angered me so bad. Bobby was sick. My son was sick. I said, would you cut the grass for me? He said, oh no, I can't do that. So I said, why can't you cut the grass? He said, oh no, that'll hurt my back. That blew my mind. So for 2 days he came, I wouldn't give him no plate. But then I had a conscience. I said, now, Lord, this is not right. He didn't want to cut my grass, and I got the food. I'm going to still feed the man, and I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. She'll tell you. I'm still doing it.
That's that community. That's one of the things we have the 4 C's, which is civility, community, creativity, and we let the young people develop on climate change. But community is so important, and you just never know. You know what I mean? You just never know. You are such a pillar in this community. You know that?
I think so, because I was looking today, so many people we was at a wait, and one lady, she was just waving, and I told my daughter, I said, I see the lady all the time. I said, but I can't remember her name. And she gave me a hug, and I'm giving her a hug. She said, oh, I just can't remember how old you are. I said, I'm 89. She said, oh, you're so blessed. But I still don't know her name. But when my son come, he'll tell me her name because he remembers all of their names.
Sure.
Yeah, but they remembers me. Now I got a young man. He came. He needed a place to stay, and he gave I haven't seen that man in 15 years. He said, I know Miss. They said you can't get an apartment because you don't know nobody. He said, yes, I do. I know Miss Brown. They said, you know Miss Brown? He said, yeah, she's my friend. Her husband and she and my husband. Her husband was my friend. The lady called me up. She said, you know Raymond? I said, Raymond what? She told me the last name. I said, if I see his face, I might know him. He came across the street. I said, yeah, he was a little boy, a young man when he used to be out there in the yard with my husband. He said, see, I told you I knew Miss Brown. But you see, they remember, some of them remember me more than I.
For sure. I mean, with so many people, and you have grands, great grands. You might have great grands. No, not okay. Okay. I know you go down. I saw a lot of kids at that party.
Great-grand. Those are all great-grand.
All great. How many?
20? I think it's 15.
No, 15, I think.
15. Wow. I mean, this was an incredible conversation today. Mrs. Brown, your wisdom, your strength, and your experience have truly given us so much to reflect on. We are honored to have you and to have you share your journey with us, to bless us with your knowledge, with your energy. Your words remind us of the power of resilience, of faith, and the importance of learning from those who came before us. And to your great granddaughter, Samaya, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your yes, for sharing your love and your admiration for your grandmother. Your bond is beautiful. And of course, your bond with your daughter and her mom, your granddaughter, is so beautiful to see that. This is why we know that intergenerational conversations like this are so valuable. The past and the future are connected. And together, we can carry forward the lessons, the values, and the stories that shape us. And so, to our listeners, what wisdom are you carrying forward from the elders in your life? So, listening to Miss Brown today, I hope and pray that that encourages you to go speak to an elder, go talk to them, honor them, tell them what you admire about them, and let's continue these conversations. Honor those who came before us and build a future rooted in respect, love, and civility. So if today's episode touched you in your heart, be sure to share it, subscribe to the M.A.D podcast, and stay connected with us. If you're inspired to be a part of Blessed Girls, be sure to go to our website, blessedgirls.com, visit our website, join our mailing list, right? And so listen, until next time, we want you to stay bold. Stay bold, right, Miss?
Yeah.
Stay empowered and keep making a difference.
Yes.
This is Dr. Anana, and you've made my day by being here today. Your smiling face, 89 years old. She don't look nothing like no 89. But you guys, I hope you're encouraged and inspired by just seeing her, right? The wisdom, that smile. And the love that she shows and she exudes to everyone. So we want you guys to just be encouraged. Again, thank you for listening. Have a great day.
That was nice.